fans, we've said for quite some time that a golden age of softball has been underway in this decade in Hanover County, Virginia. And in every year but one since 2010, one or multiple teams have made state tournament action. In 2010, it was kicked off by the Lee-Davis Confederates making the old Group AAA state championship game. They lost that afternoon, but a year later, they returned to the championship. And with the arm of Kelly Hines, Lee-Davis won its first state championship on the field that we are at this afternoon. The following year, 2012, it was the Patrick Henry Patriots' turn to make a magical run all the way to the state championship, where in likely one of the greatest state championship games ever played, they fell 3-2 to Cosby and a young sophomore pitcher named Chelsea Whitcomb 5 seasons ago. The only year Hanover County was not in the state tournament was 2013, but they returned in 2014 and have been there ever since. Patrick Henry to the tournament in 14, and for the last 3 years now in Group 5A, Hanover County has sent 2 schools to the Final Four. In 2015, Atlee had to outlast Patrick Henry in a Saturday night thriller to win the semis and then go on and win the state championship over Hickory. That was the school's first title since 2002 and second overall. And then, of course, a year ago, over again at Robinson Secondary School in Fairfax, it was the Atlee Raiders and the Lee-Davis Confederates finding themselves in semifinal action. And the experience of the Raiders came through as Atlee won that game and again went on to defeat Hickory to go back-to-back at the state title. Now we're turned the page and we're in 2017. And all season long, we've thought it was a distinct possibility that we'd also have 2 county teams in the Final Four. Would it be Atlee and Lee-Davis? Would it be Patrick Henry and Lee-Davis? The Patriots eliminated in the 5A North Region Tournament. Atlee, after struggling to get a quarterfinal win in region play over Tuscarora, had no problem whatsoever in the semis and in the championship game at Stonebridge to win the 5A North region. Lee-Davis, coming through 5A South, struggled a little bit against LC Bird in the region quarterfinal, smashed Glen Allen in a surprising result in the region semis to clinch the state bid, and then held off Nansemond River to win the 5A South region. So for the 3rd year in a row, we have 2 county teams in the Final Four, but for the first time, they were on opposite ends of the bracket. And nervous county fans came up 95 yesterday from Central Virginia up here to Northern Virginia to see if both Lee-Davis and Atlee could advance to state championship Saturday. It was Lee-Davis first on the docket, and they had a big first inning, 5 runs, including a 3-run bomb from E.B. Hudson. And they cruised to an 11-1 victory over the Bulldogs to get to the state tournament final for the first time in 6 years. A few hours later on the same field, Atlee, who also struggled, especially offensively, had a big 4th inning where they scored 6 runs on just 3 hits, 4 errors, costing Nansemond River big time. And the Raiders victorious 7-1. Peyton St. George works 5 innings. Then they pull her, let Rachel Davis pitch the 6th and the 7th so that Peyton could get a little bit of rest because it was a quick turnaround to this scheduled 1 p.m. start this afternoon. And that's the road that brings us here today, something we have talked about for the last few years, wondered if it could happen, and today, fans, it becomes reality. It is an all Hanover County state championship game in softball as the 24-1 5A North Region champions and 2-time defending state champions, the Atlee Raiders, take on their arch rival, 21-3 5A South Region champions, the Lee-Davis Confederates. Atlee will either win its 3rd straight state title today and 4th in school history, or Lee-Davis will win its first crown in 6 years and their 2nd overall. And with all of that, we greet you live from Westfield High School, in between Chantilly and Herndon, Virginia, and not too far away from Dulles International Airport on an absolutely gorgeous Saturday afternoon for softball. Rob Witham along with you live on the RVA Sports Network. We'll be a little bit after 1 p.m. getting started with first pitch. Lee-Davis going through their warm-ups right now. Atlee still to come. And shortly, we'll get things underway. Of course, this part of a huge day of state championship action going on across the state and in none bigger area than really in Hanover County, where 5 different teams are playing for state championships. 2 in action now, 3 about to get started at the top of the hour. Atlee Lacrosse late in the first half. They are trailing Patrick Henry Roanoke 6-4 in the 5A state championship. That taking place over at Robinson Secondary School. That, of course, the location of Atlee's 2015 and 2016 state softball titles, not too far from here. Hanover baseball will start, supposed to be at the top of the hour down in Salem at Salem Stadium after that crazy 31-3 win over Harrisonburg Friday in the state semis. They get the rematch with Liberty Christian Academy for the 4A state title. You'll recall those two teams had a classic state championship a year ago, where Hanover was up 7-1 in the 6th inning, watched Liberty Christian score 8 runs in the 6th, and then Hanover answered with 6 runs of their own to come back and take a 13-9 lead, and then Liberty Christian in their last at-bat scored 3 and had the bases loaded with 2 out. It was 13-12, the tying run 90 feet away, but a strikeout ended it, and Hanover won one of the wildest baseball state title games in memory, 13-12. And, of course, those two teams played again this regular season. You heard that game live over spring break here on the RVA Sports Network when Hanover had to manufacture a comeback and get the win over Liberty Christian at home, 5-4. That will be a fantastic matchup. We'll keep you posted on the Hawks and the Bulldogs from Salem. Hanover girls tennis currently leading Sharando 4-0. They've swept singles so far, and if they win one more down at Roanoke College, the Hanover Hawks will win the 4A state girls team championship, and that would complete a sweep as Stephanie Broussard in girls singles action won the state title on Thursday, and then Broussard teamed on Friday with Madison Moore to capture the 4A doubles crown. On top of that, behind us here at Westfield late this afternoon, the final RVA team to play in the 2016-17 school year will be the Mills Godwin boys soccer team as they'll battle Briar Woods for the 5A state boys soccer championship. Also about to start in about an hour down at Radford University, 2A boys soccer state championship action. The Maggie Walker Governor School looking for the state crown as they'll take on Giles County. So there you go, fans. That's what's going on across the area with all the RVA teams this state championship Saturday. As we can tell you now, they've gone to the half at Robinson, and it is 7-4 Patrick Henry Roanoke with the lead over Atlee. Of course, these two teams have already met each other twice this year. Patrick Henry of Roanoke hosted both games. One was a regular season encounter in late March, won by Atlee, and then they had the rematch in the 5A South semifinals. And Patrick Henry Roanoke last week had a big win, 11-3 over Atlee. And right now at intermission in Fairfax, it is Patriots 7 and Raiders 4. And that is now halftime in the 5A state boys lacrosse championship match. In front of us here is the Atlee Raiders are getting their infield and outfield and warm-ups ready to rock and roll, and we'll get started here momentarily. Raiders and Confederates have met twice this year, as they always do in Capital District play in the regular season. Their first game was rained out on March 31st, and Lord have mercy, how many Friday night rainouts did we have this season? It was made up on a dreary, windy Monday night, the 3rd of April. And you'll recall that early in the season, Lee-Davis head softball coach Jackie Davis was employing kind of a platoon at pitcher. She would start the senior, Kaylee Scott, and then when a team would get to around their third time in the batting order, she would change things up and bring in the freshman left-hander Savannah Henley. But facing the two-time state champions that evening, Savannah had some control problems. Atlee took advantage, broke a scoreless tie, and Peyton St. George did the rest, and Atlee won that first encounter at Lee-Davis. Final there was 4-0. That was the 4th consecutive win for Atlee at Lee-Davis, which would be an unheard of stat just a few years ago when it seemed every year Atlee would go to Lee-Davis in the regular season, they'd get a lead, and they'd somehow find a way to frivol it away, and Lee-Davis would get the victory. And then in the rematch at Atlee on April 28th, in a game you heard live right here on the RVA Sports Network, Peyton St. George in her first at-bat cracks a solo home run to left field and does the rest in the circle, and it was a 1-0 Atlee win. So Lee-Davis is looking to score their first run on Peyton St. George in 2017 in this, their third encounter. And we talked on that broadcast back on April 28th that if these two teams were going to see each other a third and final time, it would have to happen in Northern Virginia in June, either in another state semi like last year or in the state championship. And that is what we face today. We'll get the starting lineups for you shortly and get you set for 5A state softball championship action. And we'll begin probably 5 minutes or so after the top of the hour. Let your friends and neighbors know games available here on the RVA Sports Network. You can get on the embedded YouTube player at both RVASportsNetwork.com and HanoverCountySports.net. Just click the YouTube player on the top of the page and listen there. We've tweeted out links both on Hanover Sports and on the RVA Sportsnet on Twitter, as well as having listen live links on our Facebook pages. That's Facebook.com/RVA Sports Network, and our county-centric Facebook page for Hanover County coverage, Facebook.com/Hanover Sports. Lee-Davis down the left field line. Final instructions coming from head coach Jackie Davis. Atlee just wrapping up their practice. They're heading back into the dugout. They'll get last-minute instructions from head coach Tom McIntyre, the 5A North Region Coach of the Year. And we'll get starting lineups, our national anthem, and the beginning of this state championship game coming up in just a few moments. And we'll do so after this break. You're listening to the 5A State Softball Championship live and exclusively on the RVA Sports Network.
Don't miss the $1 million markdown event now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland. Sheehy is giving away $1 million in discounts. Sheehy Ford of Ashland, the #1 volume Ford dealer in the Mid-Atlantic, with thousands of new Fords available, plus thousands of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Start your search anytime online at SheehyFordAshland.com. Don't miss the $1 million markdown event going on right now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland, Route 1 just south of Ashland, and online at SheehyFordAshland.com. Where do more Richmonders get their high school sports news on Twitter? Who provides up to 75 live high school sports broadcasts all year long? Only the RVA Sports Network. On Twitter at the RVA Sportsnet. Follow local teams on Hanover Sports, Henrico Sports, and Chesterfield Sports. And subscribe to our YouTube channel to hear 9 different sports broadcast live all year long. It's only found on the RVA Sports Network. Online 24/7 at RVASportsNetwork.com.
Qualifications and rules apply. See institution for details.
Last play of the game, folks.
And the snap, drops back. Whoa, changes mind. Down the sideline. The 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Casasa! Unbelievable! Did you see that? Casasa!
Not to be a buzzkill, but what's Casasa? We're glad you asked that. Casasa. It's a catchy word for earning cash. Free Casasa checking rewards you in cash each month.
Hi, this is Marnie Triscari, branch manager at EVB in Ashland. Please stop by and ask me about our Casasa accounts or visit us at bankevb.com. Member FDIC.
Don't miss the $1 million markdown event now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland. Sheehy is giving away $1 million in discounts. Sheehy Ford of Ashland, the #1 volume Ford dealer in the Mid-Atlantic, with thousands of new Fords available, plus thousands of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Start your search anytime online at SheehyFordAshland.com. Don't miss the $1 million markdown event going on right now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland, Route 1 just south of Ashland, and online at SheehyFordAshland.com.
Your home should be a unique reflection of your lifestyle. RCI Builder's customer-oriented building process offers a wide variety of options for customization while remaining affordable. First-time homeowners starting out, retirees interested in age-restricted communities, and even those interested in a one-of-a-kind custom home all trust RCI Builders to make their dream home a reality. Contact RCI to learn how you can save up to $30,000 on move-in ready homes in our most sought-after communities. Call 249-2818.
And we bring you back live to Westfield High School. Hi, friends. Rob Witham along with you. Captains, coaches meeting right now at home plate. Starting lineups in just a couple of moments. Our national anthem, and then it'll be first pitch. Lee-Davis, who is at the top of the bracket representing 5A South Region's champion, will be the home team this afternoon. Atlee, representing the 5A North Region as their champion, will be the visitors. And ironically enough, both teams are in their usual accustomed dugouts. Lee-Davis at home is in the third base dugout. That's where they are this afternoon. And with the Atlee Raiders at home, they are normally in the first base dugout, and that's where they find themselves here today. And a great contingent of fans have made the trip up 95 North, many of them a second time, so that they can see this history in the making in Hanover County. Have to go back in the BHSL record books to see if there has ever been a state championship game involving two teams from Hanover County. I would say the chances of it happening are slim to none, considering that there were only two high schools in the county from 1958 to 1991. Of course, that's when Atlee opened in the fall of that year. Hanover opened 12 years later in the fall of 2003. There's certainly been some regional games in sports involving the two schools, one of the two, or two of the four, I should say. And, of course, in softball, we mentioned the last 2 years we've seen county versus county at the semifinal level, but never with the trophy and the state title on the line. The Raiders, hungrier than ever, looking for the three-peat. And Lee-Davis, hungrier than ever. Last year, they were a team that looked like they were happy to be at the state championship level, and they seemed to have a little bit of deer in the headlights, and Atlee took full advantage of it on the route to the semifinal win last year. Lee-Davis throughout this 5A South Region playoff run, getting to the 5A state tournament, they've not looked that way. They've looked hungry, they've looked confident, and yesterday they bashed the softball. That 3-run homer we mentioned earlier from E.B. Hudson that helped them get a 5-0 lead after one inning. Sydney Guess with the cherry on top, a 3-run homer of her own late in the game, and a convincing and a sound 11-1 win over Stonebridge in the semifinal. For Atlee, it was more shaky. The bats really didn't get going yesterday. They had to go in the 4th inning, and they finally broke things open thanks to not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Nansemond River errors. And on just 3 hits, the Raiders scored 7 times, taking advantage with some very aggressive base running to end up with the win. 7-1 over Nansemond River. Starting lineup's about to be announced. Second half is underway at Robinson in the 5A State Boys Lacrosse Championship. And Atlee has scored first to cut the PH Roanoke lead to 7-5.
Number 2, Jordan Durbin. Third, the shortstop, number 7.
Here come your starting lineups. First for the visitors again in the lower end of the bracket, the 24-1 Atlee Raiders. Kelly Warren, of course, the speedster, the senior center fielder, leads things off. Batting second, Jordan Durbin, the second baseman. And batting third in her customary 3-hole at shortstop, Casey Barrett. She's the heart and soul of this team. Peyton St. George, the starter and the rock of this team in the circle and at bat. Batting in the 4th spot, Amanda Bohannon, who took 2 hit-by pitches yesterday. She bats 5th. Erin O'Flaherty, the right fielder, bats 6th. Rachel Davis will bat 7th. She's the first baseman. April Hooper, who was not in the starting lineup yesterday, gets the call at DP. Victoria Bernardini at third base. And Sydney Kuster, of course, will be in left field and will be this afternoon's flex player. Non-starters being introduced for Tom McIntyre's team. His second season as head coach at Atlee. Of course, longtime coaches Becky Levy and John Early. Coach Levy, the architect of the 2002 state champions. 2 years ago, they announced at the start of the 15 season that they would retire after that year, and they ended up retiring. Early, the head coach, Levy, the assistant coach, by winning the 5A state title. McIntyre and his crew came in 2016 and took them back to the promised land, and now they're on the precipice of it one more time. So the Raiders are set down the first base line, and now it's time to meet the 5A South Region champions, the Lee-Davis Confederates, with a record of 21-3. 2 of their 3 losses to these Atlee Raiders. 1-0 on April 28th, 4-0 on April the 3rd. The other loss was an extra inning defeat at home late regular season to Prince George. But since then, they have been on a roll in postseason play. Batting first, the center fielder, Heather Childress. Batting second, the shortstop, the sophomore who's had a breakout year, Lauren Taylor. Sydney Guess, who we mentioned, hit the home run late in the game yesterday in right. Batting third, your cleanup hitter, the catcher, the junior Logan Hawker. Designated player this afternoon, batting fifth, is Jesse Gentry. Ella Alvis will bat sixth and plays second. Batting seventh and playing first, another 3-run homer hitter from yesterday, E.B. Hudson. Then batting eighth, in the circle, it's, of course, the senior Kaylee Scott on her way to Randolph-Macon College. Third baseman Haley Wagner will bat ninth, and in left field this afternoon, the flex player Caroline Grubbs. That's your starting lineup for 21-3 Lee-Davis. Today's storyline, fans, it's about as simple as it gets. Can Lee-Davis finally get the bats going against Peyton St. George? Or can Peyton St. George find a way for the third consecutive time this year to keep them off of balance and hope that her offense will generate a few runs off of Kaylee Scott and be able to win a third straight state title? But if Lee-Davis starts hitting the ball as they have in several playoff games this year, and they can finally touch up St. George, it could be Lee-Davis hoisting the trophy a couple of hours from now. Head coach Jackie Davis in her 17th season and over 300 career wins introduced, and we are set for action. But first, everyone's going to rise, and we're going to have the national anthem here at Westfield High School. Ask you to join us for that. And then we'll get set for softball live and exclusively here on the RVA Sports Network. But first, we honor America with our national anthem. You hear the fans, and they are packed here in the stands at Westfield High School. The Lee-Davis fans to our left, the Atlee Raider fans to our right. There's some seats close by the press box on either side between the press box and the dugouts, and a big set of stands to the third base side where Lee-Davis Nation is. A smaller set, but just as many Raider Nation fans down to the right. Well, fans, all the talk is over. It is time for action, and we are glad that you are with us wherever you may be, back home in Central Virginia, around the nation, and across the world, listening live on the RVA Sports Network. 5A State Softball Championship about to begin. Lee-Davis has taken the field. Again, they are at the top of the bracket, and therefore they are the home team this afternoon. 5A South Region champs at 21-3. Atlee at 24-1. 5A North Region champions, which, by the way, that's something they did not win last year en route to their second straight 5A title. You'll recall they lost the region final to Halifax 6-0 at home, which is why Atlee and Lee-Davis met in the semifinals a year ago. Lee-Davis now two-time 5A South region champions. In the circle, it's Kaylee Scott, the senior, her first year starting after Kylie Stonebreaker graduated a year ago and headed to the University of New Haven, Division II team that made the NCAA tournament in Kylie's first season. And, of course, as we mentioned, Scott on her way to Randolph-Macon, just up the street from Mechanicsville in the heart of Hanover County in Ashland, Virginia. It's going to be 3 versus 3. Uniform number-wise as Scott gets set to pitch to the usual Atlee leadoff hitter in Kelly Warren. Settle back, grab a seatbelt. This could be a wild ride Lee-Davis and Atlee for the state title, and we're glad you're with us. Scott is ready, and the first pitch. Warren shows bunt, and it misses outside for ball 1. Warren, an uncharacteristic 0 for 3 yesterday. And I'm sure wanting to get on base any way, shape, or form to get the Atlee offense going much quicker this afternoon. Scott ready, the 1-0. At the knees for strike 1, and we're even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Durbin on deck. Barrett in the hole. Usual 1, 2, 3 hitters as we get started. Top of inning 1. Scott gets the call from Hawker, the 1-1. Sets up for the bunt, and it's a strike. 1-2 now. Warren behind in the count. One and two, the count on Warren. Scott is ready. Here it comes. Slap down the third base line and foul. That's signature Warren, because if she slaps one down the third base line, more often than not, she will reach base. One of the fastest softball players to come through the Richmond area in a long time. And East Tennessee State, starting next season, will very much enjoy taking advantage of that speed. The 1-2 again. Lined into center field over the head of Alvis for a base hit. And that's the other problem with Kelly Warren. She'll want to slap it, she'll want to bunt it, but she just as easily can clear your infield, find the hole in the shallow part of the outfield and get on base that way. And certainly the green light will be on for her. She'll be at first as Jordan Durbin, the junior, comes to plate. So the Raiders with the leadoff runner on. And the second baseman, the junior, Durbin, who had her breakout season 1 year ago. First pitch to Jordan, shows bunt, pops it up, caught by Scott. No play at first as Warren saw it quickly and got back to avoid the double play. So Durbin can't get the bunt down, and there's one out here in the first. That'll bring up Casey Barrett. 3 hits yesterday, a big day for the senior, headed to Virginia Tech, who has been, as we mentioned, the heart and soul psychologically and mentally of this Atlee softball team this season, kind of taking that reign from Rain Wilson, who graduated a year ago. First pitch, slapper toward third. It's going to get in the hole, and that's a base hit. Barrett on the board with her first hit of the afternoon. It'll be first and second with one out for Peyton St. George, and Barrett was aggressive, ready to hit on the first pitch. And the Raiders have something developing early here, top of inning 1. They know no better way to get a big advantage in this game than to get back into the heads of Lee-Davis. And Peyton St. George to the plate. Runners at first and second, first pitch. Outside corner for strike 1 from Scott. Scott is ready. The 0-1 outside. We're even to St. George at 1-1. Lacrosse update. Atlee has scored again midway third quarter. They've cut the PH Roanoke lead to 1 at 7-6. Scott is ready. The 1-1. Fly ball, right field. Guess coming in. Alvis going out. Ella will make the catch. Throw back to first. Barrett's in time, but Warren will get to third. And we'll have runners at the corners with 2 out here in the first. Nice play by Alvis coming into shallow right field. Guess was on a motor, but I don't know if she would have made it in time. Ella makes the play. And it'll be first and third, 2 out for Amanda Bohannon, who probably used the ice machine at her hotel more than any other person last night. We'll explain why in a moment. First pitch, runner going, strike 1. They'll throw to third to see if they can catch Warren napping, and that's not going to happen. And Barrett easily into second with the stolen base. 0-1 the count. Bohannon hit by pitches not once but twice yesterday and had ice on her left elbow during pregame. She'll ask for time, and Amanda will step out for a moment, swing the bat a couple of times, and get back in the box. Got ahead in the count, 0-1. Runners at second and third, 2 out. Next pitch is high and outside, and we're even at 1-1. Should the inning continue, Aaron O'Flaherty is on deck. Raiders with 2 in scoring position, trying to strike first here, top of inning number 1. Scott ready, and we had time called just before the pitch was thrown. So no pitch there, and we are still at 1-1. Barrett at second, Warren at third. The pitch, she held off on it. High, 2-1. Nothing, just underway. 2 hits already for the Raiders off of Scott in this first inning. Kaylee gets the sign. Here comes the 2-1. It's high, 3-1 the count. Now the first base is open. Don't want to give her something sweet because Amanda can pound it. And it could be 3-0 in a swing. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, and we go full at 3-2. Beautiful pitch by Kaylee at the knees, and Amanda chased and was late. And we're full. Runnels will be going from second and third. Barrett at second, Warren at third. Atlee trying to get on the board first, top of the first inning, 2 down. Scott is ready. The 3-2. Tapped, foul, back to the screen, and we'll try it again as she just gets a piece of the off-speed pitch. And we'll go 3-2 a second time. Temperatures low to mid-80s. Humidity a bit more than yesterday, but still not nearly as bad as some Saturdays we've spent at state championship games in June. The payoff, high for ball 4. Bohannon will take first. And Aaron O'Flaherty will come to the plate with the bases loaded and 2 out. We'll get a courtesy runner. Rachel Green will run for the catcher, Bohannon. They'll get that squared away in the official scorecard, and now it's Aaron O'Flaherty with a chance to break this game open early. Two down, bases loaded. Warren at third, Barrett at second, and now Rachel Green, the courtesy runner for the catcher, Amanda Bohannon, at first. So Green will run for Bohannon. Scott is ready. First pitch to Aaron. Swing and a foul back to the screen, and it's no balls and 1 strike. So an early opportunity here for Atlee to completely seize momentum and control on the scoreboard and in the minds of everyone on that field. 2 down, bases loaded, the 0-1. High, we're even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Quick tennis update from Roanoke College. Sharando gets their first singles win. Hanover leads 4-1. They get 1 more win. They are 4A state champions. The 1-1. Grounder towards short. Taylor gets it, throws it to first, and they'll leave the bases loaded. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 3 left on base. Middle of inning 1 in the 5A state championship. It is Lee-Davis and Atlee scoreless. Lee-Davis coming to bat next, as you're listening to the 5A State Championship live and exclusively on the RVA Sports Network.
Qualifications and rules apply. See institution for details.
Last play of the game, folks.
And the snap, drops back. Whoa, changes mind. Down the sideline. The 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Casasa! Unbelievable! Did you see that? Casasa!
Not to be a buzzkill, but what's Casasa? We're glad you asked that. Casasa, it's a catchy word for earning cash. Free Casasa checking rewards you in cash each month.
Hi, this is Marnie Triscari, branch manager at EVB in Ashland. Please stop by and ask me about our Casasa accounts or visit us at bankevb.com. Member FDIC.
Don't miss the $1 million markdown event now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland. Sheehy is giving away $1 million in discounts. Sheehy Ford of Ashland, the #1 volume Ford dealer in the Mid-Atlantic, with thousands of new Fords available, plus thousands thousands of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Start your search anytime online at SheehyFordAshland.com. Don't miss the $1 million markdown event going on right now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland, Route 1, just south of Ashland, and online at SheehyFordAshland.com.
We're back. Peyton St. George is in the circle for the first time this afternoon. And so we give you a couple of quick updates elsewhere. Again, it's now Hanover 4, Sharando 1 in the state championship in girls tennis down at Roanoke College. Hawks are 1 win away from the state title. Patrick Henry of Roanoke has scored back-to-back goals. And they take a 9-6 lead on Atlee at 1:45 left in the third quarter. So Hanover girls tennis ahead, Atlee boys lacrosse behind, and they should be underway now down in Salem, Hanover and Liberty Christian for the 4A state championship in baseball. Hanover looking for their 4th state title in the last 5 years. Heather Childress will lead things off here in the bottom of inning number 1 for Lee-Davis, who at the top of the bracket is the home team in this 5A state championship game. Childress, Taylor, Guess. The usual 1-2-3, and the first pitch is low to Childress for ball 1. Heather on her way to Mount Olive University next season. The 1-0 pitch gets that outside corner for strike 1. Strike zone will be a huge situation today. It was a wide latitude in the Atlee-Nansemond River game, which, of course, Peyton St. George ate up. Next pitch, foul back to the screen, and Childress now down to the count 1-2. The more Peyton can paint the outside corner on hitters, the more effective she will be. And again, Lee-Davis looking for their first run in 3 games this year on the Raiders. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, and Childress goes down. That's the first K today for St. George. 1 out. Bottom of the first, and that brings up Lauren Taylor, the sophomore shortstop, who has had a fantastic season, especially the second half of the year. First pitch to Lauren, right down the pike for strike 1. From seeing her early on in March and to see her today, her confidence level, her ability level has just skyrocketed. St. George delivers the 0-1. It's high, and we're even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Lauren is an early commit to the Lancers of Longwood University, who, of course, had that magical ride through the Big South tournament to get back to the NCAAs again this year. St. George delivers. She'll get the outside corner, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Taylor with Sydney Guess, the left-handed hitter, on deck. 1 out, nobody on, bottom 1, 0-0. Atlee left the bases loaded in the top of the first. The 1-2, high and outside, 2-2 the count. Dylan Rice has just scored to cut that PH Roanoke lacrosse lead to 2 at 9-7, closing seconds of the third quarter over in Fairfax, about 13 miles from where we sit this afternoon. 2-2 pitch, low, and we'll go full on Lauren Taylor at 3-2. Guess on deck, and should the inning continue past that, of course, their slugger in the 4-hole, Logan Hawker, the catcher. Taylor is ready. St. George is ready. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, and Taylor goes down. Big smile on Peyton's face. 2 Ks for St. George early. And that will bring up Sydney Guess. Sydney has had a hot postseason, had some key hits in certain situations in this tournament run for the Confederates. And again, had that 3-run home run late yesterday in the win over Stonebridge. First pitch at the Lee-Davis letters for strike 1. Sydney on her way next year to Coastal, or I should say in 2 years, to Coastal Carolina. Next pitch misses high. And the count is 1-1 strike. Five seniors on this Lee-Davis squad. St. George toes the rubber and delivers the 1-1 pitch. Foul back to the screen, and guess goes down 1-2. Occasional cloud will go over the sun, but 85-90% of the time, it's a bright, sunny afternoon here at Westfield High School. Guess is ready. St. George is ready. The 1-2 pitch. Tap just foul down the first baseline. Sydney stays alive at 1-2 as St. George looks to strike out the side to open inning number 1. Davis at first, Durbin at second, Barrett at short, Bernardini at third, the usual infield for the Raiders. The 1-2 pitch. Foul down the third base line and out of play. And it's 1-2 one more time. You got to really be paying attention if you're a Lee-Davis fan in those big bleachers down the third base line, because the fence is short, and if somebody screams one down the line foul and you're talking to your cousin, you may be the one ending up with the ice on your face this afternoon. Mick George, we're ready in the 1-2. Tap towards second, and Durbin will make the play. Not enough juice on that one, just a little rope. Durbin comes over about 3 feet, makes the play, and we'll head to inning number 2. 1 in the books in the 5A state championship this afternoon. Atlee nothing, Lee-Davis nothing. Back in 60 seconds as our live and exclusive coverage rolls on the RVA Sports Network.
Qualifications and rules apply. See institution for details.
Last play of the game, folks.
And the snap, drops back. Whoa, changes mind. Down the sideline. The 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Casasa! Unbelievable! Did you see that? Casasa!
Not to be a buzzkill, but what's Casasa? We're glad you asked that. Casasa. It's a catchy word for earning cash. Free Casasa checking rewards you in cash each month.
Hi, this is Marnie Triscari, branch manager at EVB in Ashland. Please stop by and ask me about our Casasa accounts or visit us at bankevb.com. Member FDIC.
Don't miss the $1 million markdown event now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland. Sheehy is giving away $1 million in discounts. Sheehy Ford of Ashland, the #1 volume Ford dealer in the Mid-Atlantic, with thousands of new Fords available, plus thousands of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Start your search anytime online at SheehyFordAshland.com. Don't miss the $1 million markdown event going on right now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland, Route 1, just south of Ashland, and online at SheehyFordAshland.com.
Time for top of inning number 2, and the first pitch from Kaylee Scott to Rachel Davis is called strike 1. They're going to the 4th at Robinson Secondary School. Patrick Henry Roanoke 9, Atlee 7, 5A Boys Lacrosse Championship on the line. The 0-1 pitch is high, and we're even to Davis at 1-1 to lead off the second inning here in the 5A State Softball Championship. As you remember, the Atlee Boys Lacrosse team, it's their 3rd straight shot at a state title. They've lost the title game both in 2015 and 16. Next pitch in the dirt, and 2-1 the count to Davis. Last year, that heartbreaking overtime loss over at Lake Braddock Secondary School in Fairfax. Now they're trying to come from behind and finally seize that 5A state title. Down by 2 with 12 minutes in regulation. Scott is ready to deliver the 2-1 pitch, and it's tapped foul by Davis toward the third base dugout, and we'll go even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. April Hooper is on deck for Atlee. Leadoff hitter, top of the second. No score. Scott's ready, the 2-2. Foul hits the top of the screen in front of us and will stay at 2-2. Lee-Davis with a little bit of an advantage, having played the 3 o'clock game yesterday. Atlee's 5:30 game didn't start till about 6, so they had a few extra hours to rest up to get ready for this game. Off speed on the 2-2, and Davis goes down swinging. Beautiful strikeout by Kaylee Scott, and there's one away here in the top of the second inning.
batting for the Raiders, number 11, April Hooper.
Hooper to the plate with one out and nobody on. First pitch in there for called strike one. Each out that Kaylee gets, she'll gain more and more confidence. And we talked to Coach Davis about her yesterday in the postgame after the win over Stonebridge. Next pitch, high and outside. We're even at 1-1. And I asked her, I said, do you think the couple of innings of mop-up work that she did last year in the state semis in relief of Conley Stonebreaker actually now has paid off dividends for you, because today wasn't the first time on a big stage? And Coach Davis absolutely agreed. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2 to Hooper. That even though she went in a situation which was very difficult, the Raiders with a sizable lead by that point, she held the Raiders off the scoreboard the rest of the way, and she knew how it felt to step on the biggest stage. Called strike three. Hooper will go down without swinging the bat on the third strike. 2 Ks for Scott here in the second, and with 2 down, it'll be Bernardini, the third baseman. And so some people will remember Kaylee's work as mop-up last year, but truth of the matter is, if you know how it feels to be in the circle in this situation, it can do nothing but help you. Nobody on, 2 out, hit towards short on the first pitch, right to Lauren Taylor, and she'll glove it, and that'll be it, a 1-2-3 second for the Atlee Raiders. We'll go to the bottom of inning number 2. No score here in the 5A state championship. No word yet from Hanover down at the 4A state baseball championship. And that's going to be, of course, at Salem Stadium in Salem against Liberty Christian Academy, a team they had to beat for the championship last year, and a team that they beat in a spring break game in comeback fashion back on the 13th of April in a game you heard here live on the RVA Sports Network. 5-4 was the final that night. And Hanover has made it a living out of comeback victories this year, except for yesterday when they scored 31 runs to beat Harrisonburg in the state semis and get back to the state final for the 4th time in 5 years. Another quick tennis update, this time from Deep Run. And Deep Run girls tennis in a war right now in Newport News with Marshall. And here's what's happening thanks to our buddy Sunny Dearth hanging out down at the Huntington Park Tennis Center. It's Marshall 4, Deep Run 3. Doubles underway. They will decide the 5A Girls State Championship. And Deep Run's got to win 2 out of 3. And now they're going to have to win both of the ones remaining. The first doubles is now over, and Marshall leads at 4-3. So Deep Run's got to sweep the last 2. Deep Run fans will be happy to know that Nina Sorkin and Audrey Butterworth are still playing. And, of course, that's their number 1 doubles team who won the doubles state championship yesterday down at Newport News. Bottom of inning 2, Logan Hawker will lead things off for Lee-Davis. St. George ready and delivers. Misses low and a bit outside for ball 1. Hawker, Gentry, Alvis, your scheduled hitters here in the second. St. George is ready, the 1-0. Floater towards short. Barrett comes up and makes the catch, running about 4 or 5 steps toward the circle to do it. Hawker is retired for the first out of the bottom of the second inning. That'll bring up Jesse Gentry.
Now batting for the Confederates, number 11, Jesse Gentry.
As we go a little bit past 1:30 on this Saturday afternoon, first pitch inside, grabs that corner for strike 1 to Gentry. St. George is ready and now delivers the 0-1 pitch. Outside, hits that corner. 0-2. Atlee Lacrosse has scored twice early in the 4th. They've tied it 9-9. St. George is ready with the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Gentry goes down, and that's the third strikeout of the day for St. George. 2 down, nobody on. Bottom 2, Lee-Davis still looking for their first base runner of the afternoon, and again, still looking for their first run off of Atlee in their now 16th inning of batting against him this season. First pitch to Alvis will go into right field, and there's your hit if O'Flaherty can't get it to first, and she can't. It goes over the head of Davis, but Bohannon is there to take care of it, and Ella Alvis has the first hit of the afternoon for Lee-Davis and their first base runner with 2 out. And E.B. Hudson to the plate. And you'll remember E.B. Hudson yesterday in her first at-bat with 2 on in the first, cracked a 3-run homer to left field in that 5-run first inning in the semifinal win over Stonebridge. The first pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. Nobody covering at first, so Alvis will walk back safely. 2 out and their first runner on here. Let's see if Lee-Davis can get a 2-out rally developing. St. George ahead of the count 0-1. Gets the sign from Bohannon. And the pitch. Misses high. And we're even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Alvis at first. And the 1-1 pitch coming to Hudson. Peyton winds up and fires. Off-speed pitch hit into left field. Playable. Kuster underneath it and makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. We're through 2 this afternoon at the 5A State Baseball Championship with your score. Atlee nothing, Lee-Davis nothing. Back in 60 seconds, live and exclusively on the RVA Sports Network.
Your home should be a unique reflection of your lifestyle. RCI Builders' customer-oriented building process offers a wide variety of options for customization while remaining affordable. First-time homeowners starting out, retirees interested in age-restricted communities, and even those interested in a one-of-a-kind custom home all trust RCI Builders to make their dream home a reality. Contact RCI to learn how you can save up to $30,000 on move-in-ready homes in our most sought-after communities. Call 249-2818.
Where do more Richmonders get their high school sports news on Twitter? Who provides up to 75 live high school sports broadcasts all year long? Only the RVA Sports Network. On Twitter at the RVA Sportsnet. Follow local teams on Hanover Sports, Henrico Sports, and Chesterfield Sports. And subscribe to our YouTube channel to hear 9 different sports broadcast live all year long. It's only found on the RVA Sports Network. Online 24/7 at rvasportsnetwork.com.
It's the top of the order now for Atlee here in the top of the 3rd. Kelly Warren to lead things off. First pitch to her. Misses. No, it's in there for strike 1. Check that. Got that outside corner. 0-1 the count. Warren slapped a single over Alvis's head at second into right center field to open the contest. Shows bunt. Pulls back. That's outside. And we're even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Fans will tell you now that when the game concludes, it'll be a very, very, very quick post-game show because we'll need to wrap things up and get down to the field so we can get the trophy presentation, interviews, and more. Next pitch foul down the third base line, hits the fence, and the count is 1-2. After the game, they'll have the post-game presentation. We'll have the trophy presentation and pictures. Have that for you on Facebook.com/Hanover Sports as soon as possible. The 1-2 pitch. Tapper. It's a fair ball. Hawker gets it. Sends it to Hudson, who wasn't on the bag, and she's able to tag Warren out for the first out of the inning. So unorthodox as it was, it gets the job done, and Warren is retired, and there's 1 out here in the 3rd. And, of course, also down there, we'll be able to get interviews, and you'll get the final word on this historic state softball championship this week in the next edition of the Hanover Herald Progress. Quick timeout. One of the assistant coaches for Atlee questioning the call baseline, and the umpires are going to come and have a conversation. Lee-Davis's infield will gather in the circle and have a discussion, and the outfielders are going to get together for a moment as well, as we have a time called here on the field. Umpires have finished their discussion. The play stands. Warren's retired. 1 out, nobody on. And Jordan Durbin will step into the batter's box. First pitch, right down the middle, and it's 0-1 to Durbin. One out, nobody on. Here in the top of the third. Next pitch, beautifully painted inside corner on the change, and it's 0-2. This one's popped up toward Hudson at first, and EB will go back a few steps and make the catch for the second out of the inning. We have our first update from Salem this afternoon. Liberty Christian with a big inning developing. In the second, they have a 4-1 lead over Hanover in the 4A state championship in baseball. Liberty Christian 4, Hanover 1. 2 out, nobody on here. The batter. First pitch, low and inside for ball 1. Casey Barrett hit a homer in the state semis against Lee-Davis a year ago. Hit the homer that started off the game against Hickory last year in the state championship game. 1-0 pitch misses. It's 2-0. You can tell that Scott very much respects Barrett's ability to make this 1-0 in one swing. St. George, who hit the lone homer and the lone run in the last meeting between the two teams, on deck. Next pitch, tap foul down the third base line, and the count is 2-1. April 28th was the last time these two teams met. We were live that night here on RVASN when St. George in her first at-bat cranked a homer at home to the scoreboard in left field and made it stand up in a 1-0 victory. The 2-1. Tapper towards Scott. Picks it up. The throw to Hudson a bit wide, but Hudson's able to grab it with the glove with a nice extension for the third out of the inning. So 1-2-3 in the top of the third. Lee-Davis coming to bat. And it's still 0-0 here in the 5A state finals. A big thank you to our season-long sponsors who started with us on the Game of the Week on WHAN Radio way back at the end of August, the 1st of September for football, and then, of course, going through all the seasons. RVA Sports Network, your exclusive home for live high school sports all year long. Football, volleyball, basketball, swimming, baseball, softball, lacrosse, soccer. All this season and in past seasons, we thank you so much to Sheehy Ford of Ashland for their support this year, to EVB Community Banking since 1910, and to our friends at RCI Builders and Hometown Realty. As we go to the bottom of the third inning here live at Westfield High School, Rob Witham along with you, and thank you for making us a part of your Saturday afternoon, whether you're streaming at home on your laptop or your tablet, or maybe you're on the road and you're listening on your phone. Wherever you may be, thanks for being with us here at youtube.com/RVA Sports Network. And a reminder, all of our broadcasts are immediately archived, so you can listen back to this state championship match at any time or any game we've had this year on RVA Sports Network on our YouTube channel. They're all archived at youtube.com/RVA Sports Network. Final 2 minutes at lacrosse. Atlee is down a goal. It is 10-9 Patrick Henry Roanoke. Similar situation last year. Atlee scored in the waning seconds to force overtime and then lost in the extra session. They'll try to do it again. Here we go bottom of inning number 3. Atlee had 2 hits in the first inning. Ella Alvis with a lone hit for Lee-Davis back with 2 outs in the second. And it'll be Haley Wagner, and then the top of the order, Childress and Taylor. No, check that. We'll start with Scott. So the 8-9-1 hitters here in the third. Scott, Wagner, top of the order. Heather Childress due up. St. George is ready, and the first pitch. Scott shows bunt, comes back, outside corner, strike one. Oh, if you had a dime for every time you heard St. George the pitch, outside corner, strike. The 0-1. Tap foul down the first base line. Assistant coach Meredith Holmes with a nice move to get away from it. And the count's 0-2 to St. George's pitching counterpart, Kaylee Scott. Scott's going to make a good addition for Kevin Profit at Randolph-Macon next year. Looking for a solid number 2 starter behind Candace Whitmore. And trying to get back to the NCAA tournament next season as well. Pitch way outside, and it's 1-2. Macon made the second NCAA tournament in their history this past month. Actually hosted the regional. That was won by eventual national champion, Virginia Wesleyan. St. George is ready, and now the 1-2 pitch to Scott. Down the third base line and foul. Just past Bernardini. And we'll go again at 1-2 with Wagner on deck. One ball, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Leadoff hitter, bottom 3 for Lee-Davis. Swing and a miss, and Scott's retired, and that's 4 strikeouts for Peyton St. George, and 1 down. Here in the third. First pitch to Wagner is outside for ball 1. Haley had the big hit in the regional championship game last Friday night out at Deep Run High School. The double to the left field corner that scored 2 runs and part of that 4-run inning that helped Lee-Davis eliminate Nansemond River from region title contention, 4-2. Nansemond River still advanced to the final 4 yesterday. Swing and a miss, and we're even at 1-1. And, of course, it was the Warriors that Atlee defeated yesterday to get to where we are today. Update from Salem. It's getting worse for Hanover. 3 more runs in for Liberty Christian, and it's 7-1 in the second inning. Hawks in early trouble. 1-1 pitch. Shows bunt, pops it up. St. George says, I'll take it, and there are 2 away here in the bottom of the third. Wagner retired on the bunt attempt. And with 2 out and nobody on, it'll be the top of the order. And Heather Childress. They are down to the final 62 seconds of regulation over in Fairfax. Atlee Lacrosse down 10-9. Timeout with 1:02 left. So Hanover baseball down big early. Hanover tennis on the verge of winning the state title. Hanover County with 5 different teams playing right now for state championships, 2 against each other in front of us. First pitch, high, ball 1 to Heather. So 4 Ks for St. George and 2 2/3. And a couple of Ks for Scott. Here so far early on, the 1-0 pitch. Fouled toward the fans, just past the Atlee dugout. And we're even at 1-1. Ball comes back in. Umpire's going to check it. Hands Bohannon another one and says you can put this one back in the dugout. So the count's 1-1, 2 out and nobody on here in the bottom of the third inning. Childress shows bunt. It gets over Davis's head, but there at first to cover is Jordan Durbin coming over from second, picks up the ball, steps on the bag, and Childress is retired. Nice ball placement, but better defense by Jordan Durbin. We go
VHSL activities. As a parent and enthusiast of VHSL activities, you may support the program.
Should be bottom 4. And we are still scoreless. Biggest part of this game so far, the fact that Atlee was able to get the bases loaded in the first inning, and Kaylee Scott and Lee-Davis were able to get out of the jam and keep the 0. So we're going to the top of the 4th inning. And it'll be St. George to lead things off. Bohannon and O'Flaherty, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters, due up. So here comes St. George for her second at bat of the afternoon. And Scott is ready. St. George with that lone solo home run in the last meeting, April 28th, in the 1-0 win. First pitch outside for ball 1. That was in her first at-bat that Friday night. And then we settled in and watched a pitcher's duel the rest of the way. Scott's ready, the 1-0. Low, golfed, down the third baseline, but foul, and we're even at 1-1. Fans, it's a final in Fairfax. And I, unfortunately for Atlee Raider fans, have to give you the bad news for the 3rd year in a row. Patrick Henry Roanoke wins the 5A state championship. Final is 10-9 as Scott paints the outside corner to go ahead on St. George at 1-2. So 10-9 is the final. Next pitch is launched high and deep into left center field. Gone. Way over the fence. Childress just looked back, and then turns around and shakes her head. And Peyton St. George does it again. A solo homer to put the Raiders up 1-0 here in the top of the 4th. Second time this year, a solo homer for Peyton St. George off of Kaylee Scott. And Atlee takes the 1-0 lead here, top of the 4th inning. There was no doubt about it. And it cleared the fence by at least 10 feet. First pitch to Bohannon. Nips the outside corner for strike 1. And again, center fielder Heather Childress told the whole story. She turned around, she looked, she just watched it, she barely moved. Next pitch, swing and a miss, and quickly Bohannon down 0-2, and then she turned around and just started shaking her head as St. George rounded second and the Raiders started pouring out of the dugout. 1-0 Atlee. And now the 0-2 pitch to Bohannon. Swing and a miss, and she goes down. Scott with the strikeout, and there's one out here in the 4th, and now a critical juncture for Lee-Davis in this game, and that is not allowing that St. George homer to get into their head. Obviously, Lee-Davis's biggest successes this year have come when they've been able to jump out in front. And as we mentioned earlier, they're still looking for their first run of the year off of St. George. First pitch to O'Flaherty, low and inside for ball 1. So they know the pressure's on when they get in that dugout. They've got to find a way to get on base and get home. Scott is ready. The 1-0 pitch in the dirt. Almost hit Aaron. Balls and no strikes. They will switch balls once again. Send a fresh one out to Scott. And the count is at 2-0. So for the 3rd year in a row, Atlee Boys Lacrosse gets to the state championship game, and for the 3rd year, they fall short. Last year in overtime, this year, a 1-goal defeat. Still incredible season for a program that is so young. Atlee lacrosse and all the lacrosse in Hanover County wasn't even recognized by the VHSL until 4 years ago. And a breakthrough year for Atlee girls lacrosse, making the state tournament for the first time. So the count is 2-0, and the pitch is fouled off by O'Flaherty out of play behind first base. And the count now, 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 the count. Scott is ready, and the pitch fouled back, and we'll go full at 3-2. So 1 out, nobody on, but the big stick again, Peyton St. George. The solo homer more towards center than left center for the 1-0 lead. Tries to paint the corner and misses. Won't give it to her. And O'Flaherty is aboard on a 1-out walk. That was close. Very close. That's a timeout, and Coach Jackie Davis is going to come out and talk to Scott and the infield, and I don't blame her. This is an opportunity just to kind of calm things down a little bit. Don't let the mental or psychological eggs. She's took both of her hands and just put them up in the air and put them down. I can't even read her lips because her back is to me, but I know she just said, calm down. They have been in this situation before. They understand that they need to keep it at 1-0 and then keep trying, keep hacking to try to figure out how they can get on the board against these Raiders. So O'Flaherty, the runner at first. Rachel Davis will come to the plate. Rain Wilson, acting as a late season assistant coach for Atlee, a year removed from her incredible run at Atlee High School. 2 years at third base, 2 years as catcher, and 2 state championships. Has a word of encouragement for Rachel, who struck out in her first appearance. And Davis comes to the plate in a very interesting situation. 1 out, 1 run in on the homer. O'Flaherty at first on the walk. First pitch. High, ball 1. Never been more mentally taxing right now on Kaylee Scott than it is at this moment. Scott delivers. Misses the outside corner, 2-0. Watching a lot of body language right now. Scott not showing a crack yet. Gets the sign, the 2-0. That misses high, and it's 3 balls and no strikes to Davis, and April Hooper is on deck. Atlee 1, Lee-Davis 0, top of the 4th. Scott in danger of walking back-to-back hitters. 3-0 pitch. Gets the inside corner at the knees for strike 1. Atlee wants more than that 1 under the number 4 on the scoreboard. The 3-1 pitch, and we get time called by Davis. Three-one pitch, tap foul down the third base line, and we'll go full at 3-2. She lost O'Flaherty on the full count, and she doesn't want to walk back-to-back batters. April Hooper has shown promise in the hitting department as the season has progressed. 3-2, foul back to the screen. We'll try it again. Three-two, got her on the outside corner, and Davis is retired, and that is a huge second out in this inning, number 4. That'll bring up April Hooper with O'Flaherty still at first on the 1-out walk. But the damage was the St. George solo homer to lead off the frame for the 1-0 lead. First pitch, Hooper fouls it back to the screen. The count's 0-1. They finally finished the second inning in Salem. And Liberty Christian leads Hanover 8-1 in the 4A State Baseball Championship. Scott's ready, the 0-1. Swing and a miss, and Hooper's down 0-2. O'Flaherty at first. Scott trying to get out of the inning, only giving up the solo homer. Here comes the 0-2. Got her at the knees. Called strike 3, and they'll strand O'Flaherty at first. Middle of the fourth. Atlee 1. Lee-Davis nothing. Back in 60. Live on the RVA Sports Network.
Your home should be a unique reflection of your lifestyle. RCI Builders' customer-oriented building process offers a wide variety of options for customization while remaining affordable. First-time homeowners starting out, retirees interested in age-restricted communities, and even those interested in a one-of-a-kind custom home all trust RCI Builders to make their dream home a reality. Contact RCI to learn how you can save up to $30,000 on move-in ready homes in our most sought-after communities. Call 249-2818.
Where do more Richmonders get their high school sports news on Twitter? Who provides up to 75 live high school sports broadcasts all year long? Only the RVA Sports Network. On Twitter at the RVA Sportsnet. Follow local teams on Hanover Sports, Henrico Sports, and Chesterfield Sports. And subscribe to our YouTube channel to hear 9 different sports broadcast live all year long. It's only found on the RVA Sports Network. Online 24/7 at rvasportsnetwork.com.
We go bottom of the fourth with Peyton St. George back in the circle, helping herself out again with the solo homer. April 28th, it was in her first at bat at home. June 10th, it's in her second at bat here in Nova. And now she'll see if she can make it stick, get their third win of the season over Lee-Davis. It would be their third shutout win if they can keep the 0 on the board. And, of course, it would mean their third straight state championship. Rob with them along with you live on the RVA Sports Network. You can listen live on the embedded YouTube player at the top of the page right now at rvasportsnetwork.com or hanovercountysports.net. St. George is ready. Taylor in the batter's box. First pitch to Lauren is low for ball 1. 2, 3, 4 in the bottom of 4. Taylor, Guess, and Hawker. This is where Lee-Davis could make some noise. St. George ready and delivers the 1-0 pitch. That's high and outside. It's 2-0 to Lauren Taylor. Sometimes it's very hard to show patience, especially when you're a sophomore in a situation like this, but Lauren is doing it right now. St. George is ready, and the 2-0. That's in there at the knees, strike 1. So Hanover baseball down to 8-1. Deep Run girls tennis down 4-3. Atlee boys lacrosse has lost their final 10-9. Hanover girls tennis up 4-1 at last check. Swing and a tapper back to the screen, and we'll go even at 2-2. Maggie Walker boys soccer is on their way to about to start down at Radford University in the 2A boys soccer final. And then the final team in RVA to play this year, Mills Godwin boys soccer. They'll be behind us here at Westfield at about 5 p.m. 2-2 is outside, and we'll go full to the leadoff hitter, Lauren Taylor, at 3-2. Crazy busy weekend as we wrap up the 2016-17 school year and broadcast year here on RVA SN. The payoff pitch. Popped it up. Durbin calls. Davis calls. Davis calls her off. Actually, it's more a case of Durbin calling herself off, and Rachel makes the catch with that white glove she broke in mid-season. And there is one out. A little bit taken off of that pitch, and it induced the pop-up. And there's one out for Sydney Guess here in the bottom of the fourth. First pitch outside corner for strike 1. One hit for Lee-Davis. That was a single from Ella Alvis. 2 outs in the second. 3 hits for Atlee. 2 in the first when they left the bases loaded. And the St. George solo shot top of this inning. The 0-1. Foul down the third base line and almost caught by a fan in the top of the bleachers. So he will not get a contract. And the count is 0-2. If Guest can get aboard, Logan Hawker. Well, Hawker will get on. It's only one out in the inning. 0-2 to Guest. Down the left field line, but foul. Late swing. Lucky to get a piece of it, honestly, but when she did, she got a really nice piece of it. But because she was a hair late, it winds up in the grass on the wrong side of the foul line if you're Lee-Davis. So we stay 0-2 with one out. St. George is ready. The pitch. Just tap foul. Guest barely stays alive at 0-2. St. George with her full array of pitching options at her disposal this afternoon. Swing and a miss, and Guest goes down. St. George with a smile for strikeout number 5. And there are 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And that'll bring up Logan Hawker. And if there's anyone on the Lee-Davis roster that could match St. George's solo shot with one of her own, it's this young lady right here, the junior catcher. First pitch. Outside corner. At the letters for strike 1. Now we can say this, should Hawker get aboard, Gentry is on deck. 2 out, bottom 4. The 0-1. Misses. Outside. Didn't paint the corner that time. 1-1 on Hawker. It will be very interesting to see if Peyton goes straight outside the rest of this at-bat or if she'll try to sneak one in on the hands. Tapper down to second. Durbin has it. Throw to first. Davis has to stretch for it, but is able to keep the foot on the bag for the final out of the inning. Well, we're through 4 this afternoon live at Westfield High School, and the St. George Homer, the difference. Atlee 1, Lee-Davis nothing. 5A state championship rolls on after this break live on the RVA Sports Network.
Don't miss the $1 million markdown event now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland. Sheehy is giving away $1 million in discounts. Sheehy Ford of Ashland, the #1 volume Ford dealer in the Mid-Atlantic, with thousands of new Fords available, plus thousands of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Start your search anytime online at SheehyFordAshland.com. Don't miss the $1 million markdown event going on right now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland. Route 1, just south of Ashland, and online at SheehyFordAshland.com. Where do more Richmonders get their high school sports news on Twitter? Who provides up to 75 live high school sports broadcasts all year long? Only the RVA Sports Network. On Twitter at the RVA Sportsnet. Follow local teams on Hanover Sports, Henrico Sports, and Chesterfield Sports. And subscribe to our YouTube channel to hear 9 different sports broadcast live all year long. It's only found on the RVA Sports Network. Online 24/7 at RVASportsNetwork.com.
So we go to the top of the 5th inning. Atlee 1, Lee-Davis nothing on the strength of the Peyton St. George solo home run. I know. Stop me if you've heard that before. And it'll be the 9-1-2 hitters for Atlee here in the top of inning 5, Bernardini, and then the top of the order, Warren and Durbin. And Kaylee Scott into her 5th inning of work this afternoon. Championship on the line in 5A. First pitch is outside for ball 1 to Victoria Bernardini, who took the place of Taylor Sandiford at third base. Taylor graduated last year, has finished a successful first year at Randolph-Macon. Next pitch right down the middle for strike 1. And the count's even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Top 5, 1-1 pitch. Slapped back out of play behind the Lee-Davis dugout. And it's 1-2. Going to be a lot of changes to these two teams come 2018. Graduation's going to take quite a bit from both of them, more so Atlee than Lee-Davis. The 1-2 misses outside, 2-2. Lee-Davis, we know already with the lefty, the freshman Savannah Henley, who will likely take over in the circle next season. And for Atlee, it'll probably be Rachel Davis moving over from first. Tapper, Scott's able to grab it, throw it to Hudson, and Bernardini retired for the first out of the 5th inning. Top of the order coming up, and that's Kelly Warren. Atlee's losses are right up the gut. Bohannon, the catcher, St. George, the pitcher, Barrett at short, and this young lady, Kelly Warren, the center fielder. That is going to be a lot of talent to lose in the middle of your lineup. First pitch misses, ball 1. Nobody on here in the 5th. Next pitch, slap down third base, grabbed by Wagner. Quick throw to first, and she got Warren. And can throw out Kelly Warren. They've done a heck of a job. Nice work there by Haley Wagner. And there's 2 out here in the 5th. That'll bring up Jordan Durbin, who will be one of the leaders coming back next season. Durbin, Bernardini at third, Kuster in left. They are the starters today, along with April Hooper, the DP, who are juniors. First pitch tapped up and easily caught by Scott just outside the circle. And just like that, the Raiders go 1-2-3 here in the top of inning number 5. So Atlee goes down 1-2-3, and Lee-Davis to bat here, bottom of the inning, 5th inning. And they're down 1-0. And if you'll give me, fans, just a quick moment to checking, and we do not have an update yet from down in Roanoke at Roanoke College. At last check, it was still 4-1 Hanover girls tennis, trying to wrap up the 4A state team championship. Deep run going into the final games, and sometimes in set number 3 against Marshall in a titanic 5A girls state final in Newport News. It started at 10 o'clock this morning. Hanover baseball down big early, 8-1 in the 3rd to Liberty Christian in Salem. And again, the last team in the Richmond area to go for a state title this year will be Mills Godwin Boys Soccer. They'll take the field here behind us at Westfield, take on Briar Woods for the 5A title that is scheduled to begin at 5 p.m. Right here in front of us, Lee-Davis to bat, bottom of the 5th. The Albus single in the 2nd, all they've been able to scratch so far. She's part of this 5th inning. Gentry will come to the plate first. And the Atlee Raiders, if they can hold this lead, 9 outs away from all-time title number 4 and consecutive title number 3. St. George is ready, and the first pitch popped it up. Looks like it's going to go close to the screen and does hit the backstop on our side and go out of play for strike 1 to Gentry. The Cosby girls basketball team won 3 state titles in a row in 2013, the 13-14 season, and then again in 15 and in 16. The Monacan girls basketball team just won their 3rd title in a row back in March. Next pitch, swing and a miss. Gentry down 0-2. And Atlee softball looking to join those 2 teams as 3-time state champions in a row this decade in girls sports in the RVA. The 0-2 pitch. Foul to the backstop, and Jesse stays alive at 0-2. Can hear Coach Davis now. Got 2 on you. Protect yourself. It's got to swing at anything close. Jesse's heard that a lot too, and as she's ready in this 0-2 situation. St. George delivers. Line toward left field, falling, and that's a base hit. Gentry just gets the bat on the ball, and it's enough to go over Barrett's head and in front of Kuster, and it's a leadoff single for Gentry here in the 5th. Coach Davis talking to the umpire, looking to see if she's going to make a change, either runner for Jesse. Wouldn't think she was going to pinch hit for Alvis, certainly. And indeed, will get the pinch runner. Madison McLaughlin will come in. So Madison McLaughlin at first, the runner for Gentry. Gentry was the DP, so I suspect we get back to that part of the batting order. We'll see Katie Bareford in there. And now Alvis, who has the other hit this afternoon, 1 for 2 on the day. First pitch, slapped down the first baseline, but out of play, just over the head of the Atlee assembled. And the count is 0-1. By the way, fans, the only team to beat Atlee this year, War Hill. And then going to the 7th inning now, the 3A state championship game, War Hill and Brookville are scoreless. The 0-1. Ella showed bunt. And for a moment there, McLaughlin looked like a dead duck, a third of the way between first and second, but Bohannon chose not to fire to first. And Madison gets back to first base. Counts even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody out, bottom of the 5th, Lee-Davis down 1, looking for 1 to tie it up. Shows bunt, Alvis does. St. George fires to second, got the lead runner. Too much on the bunt. Payton also was charging, grabs it, knew Casey Barrett would be there at shortstop, wheeled, fired, senior to senior, and the lead runner is retired. 1 out, Alvis now at first, and E.B. Hudson at the plate. State title on the line, bottom of the 5th inning, 1-0 Atlee. First pitch, swing and a miss to Hudson, and she's behind 0-1. Three hits for Atlee this afternoon, 2 hits for Lee-Davis. The 0-1, runner going. Alvis down to second, the throw, got her. And Barrett is down. The throw was kind of high. Casey was able to get to it. They had a brief collision, was able to get the tag. And Barrett goes down, and we'll have time called, and head coach Tom McIntyre will come out immediately to check on his senior shortstop. That was more of a collision than we first thought when those two came together. Alvis is retired. The count will be 1-1 with 2 out and nobody on now. But the question for Atlee is the well-being of Casey Barrett. Let's hope she was just shaken up on the play. She's a tough cookie, let me tell you. This is not the first time we've seen Barrett go down and look like she was in intense amounts of pain and then pop right up a minute later and get right back into the battle. And it's like they're checking a hand. They're checking on a hand or a finger right now to make sure she's okay. Can't tell if it's the glove one. No, it's not yeah, it is the glove hand. Because she's got her glove off and she's kind of looking at her left hand right now like, really? This had to happen now? And, she's going to stay in this game. They will have to carry her out, kicking and screaming. As Barrett's one of the toughest softball players, and her older sister Erica, who played for Hanover and graduated in 2012, was the exact same way. You can't get a Barrett off a softball field. Isn't that right, Sherry, if you're listening? Counts 1-1 with 2 out. The pitch, swing and a miss. Hudson now behind 1-2. And the bottom of the 5th that started very promising for Lee-Davis. Big play defensively for St. George. Bohannon gets the throw out on Alvis trying to steal. And now the 1-2 to EB. Popped it up, fouling behind us out of play, and it'll be 1-2 again. St. George with a brief visit with the rosin. She completes that. She's set and now delivers the 1-2. Lined into right field. Going back is O'Flaherty, and she makes the catch near the warning track for the third out of the inning. We go to the 6th in the 5A State Softball Championship. Atlee 1, Lee-Davis nothing, and more to come as we continue our live and exclusive coverage here on the RVA Sports Network.
Qualifications and rules apply. See institution for details.
Last play of the game, folks.
And the snap, drops back. Whoa, changes mind. Down the sideline. The 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Casasa! Unbelievable! Did you see that? Casasa!
Not to be a buzzkill, but what's Casasa? We're glad you asked that. Casasa, it's a catchy word for earning cash. Free Casasa checking rewards you in cash each month.
Hi, this is Marnie Triscari, branch manager at EVB in Ashland. Please stop by and ask me about our Casasa accounts or visit us at bankevb.com. Member FDIC.
Don't miss the $1 million markdown event now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland. Sheehy is giving away $1 million in discounts. Sheehy Ford of Ashland, the #1 volume Ford dealer in the Mid-Atlantic, with thousands of new Fords available, plus thousands of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Start your search anytime online at SheehyFordAshland.com. Don't miss the $1 million markdown event going on right now at Sheehy Ford of Ashland, Route 1 just south of Ashland, and online at SheehyFordAshland.com.
Well, my friends, Raiders come to bat, top of the 6th, holding on to that 1-0 lead.
Leading off the top of the 6th for the Raiders, number 7, Casey Barrett.
It'll be Barrett. St. George scheduled here, top 6. How many times in a game have you seen a player go down and then end up being the leadoff hitter in the next inning and get the job done? First pitch, Barrett out of play behind us, and the count is 0-1. Top of the 6th inning. Lee-Davis down to 6 outs, but only down by 1. The 0-1 in there for strike 2. A beautiful pitch by Kaylee at the knees inside, and she's up 0-2 on Barrett with St. George, who hit the homer in the 4th, on deck. The 0-2, foul right back to us. And we'll try it again at no balls and 2 strikes. Both Barrett and St. George have been stalwarts for this program since their freshman year back in 2014. And the 0-2, lined into left field. Charging for it is the left fielder Grubbs, and Caroline makes the catch for the first out of the inning. One away here in the 6th for St. George.
Raiders, number 9, St. George.
The solo shot in the 4th. Now, how are you going to handle Peyton St. George this time? First pitch. Popped it up, but it's behind the circle. Taylor gets it, throws it, and not in time. Peyton dropped it perfectly behind the circle, and it's an infield hit, and St. George is 2 for 3 this afternoon. We'll get a courtesy runner for St. George. And that'll be Alyssa Bernardini, freshman and the younger sister of the starting third baseman, Victoria Bernardini. 1 out, 1 on, top 6 for Atlee. 1 run, 4 hits for the Raiders. No runs, 2 hits for the Confederates. And that's pretty much the type of game we expected. I think if you polled 50 fans who came up from Richmond today, 25 Atlee and 25 Lee-Davis, and asked them what the final score would be, only a couple of them would have said something to the effect of 8-5 or 7-4. That's just not an Atlee Lee-Davis softball game. First pitch popped up by Bohannon. Hudson charging, will get it. Looks to go back to first, but Bernardini is there, and they're 2 away here in the 6th. And that'll bring up O'Flaherty. Aaron, the right fielder, with Alyssa Bernardini, courtesy running for St. George at first. The pitch gets completely away from Scott, winds up down the first base line. Hawker gets it, fires it to first, and the tag is late. And that's ball 1. All that to say the count is 1-0. Once in a blue moon, the ball just slips out of your hand. All right, everybody ready. Scott will step back and toe on the rubber. O'Flaherty ready. 1-0 pitch outside. 2-0 the count. She certainly doesn't want to walk this batter and let Rachel Davis come up and extend the inning. 2 out. You want to get out of it. Get the bats going. Grounder towards Scott. Can't get to it. Gets to Alvis. Quick throw to first, and it does retire O'Flaherty. So 1 left on base for Atlee here in inning number 6. We'll go bottom 6, 1-0 for that first run of the year off of Peyton St. George. But time to do it is running out. Back after this, live on the RVA Sports Network.
Home should be a unique reflection of your lifestyle. RCI Builders' customer-oriented building process offers a wide variety of options for customization while remaining affordable. First-time homeowners starting out, retirees interested in age-restricted communities, and even those interested in a one-of-a-kind custom home all trust RCI Builders to make their dream home a reality. Contact RCI to learn how you can save up to $30,000 on move-in ready homes in our most sought-after communities. Call 249-2818.
Where do more Richmonders get their high school sports news on Twitter? Who provides up to 75 live high school sports broadcasts all year long? Only the RVA Sports Network. On Twitter at the RVA Sportsnet. Follow local teams on Hanover Sports, Henrico Sports, and Chesterfield Sports. And subscribe to our YouTube channel to hear 9 different sports broadcast live all year long. It's only found on the RVA Sports Network. Online 24/7 at rvasportsnetwork.com.
So we go bottom of the 6th, and Peyton St. George and Atlee 6 outs away from the three-peat. But Lee-Davis will do everything in their power to try to extend this game and more. Rob Witham with you live here on the RVA Sports Network. Thanks so much to all of you listening in back home in the Richmond area, across Hanover County, and wherever else you may be on what my daughter and I like to jokingly call the information superhighway. It's the way they used to say it back when her as a baby 20 years ago. Bottom of the 6th. And Katie Bareford will, to start the bottom of the 6th inning, her first appearance today. First pitch low for ball 1 to Bareford, who had her share of starts at the designated player position this season. St. George ready the 1-0 outside, and it's 2-0. And now for St. George, it's a situation to where you want to make sure the adrenaline doesn't kick in a little too much, knowing that the end and the goal is in sight. 2-0. This is low and make it 3-0. And a barefoot gets on Haley Wagner. Is on deck. 3-0. Low. So Bareford walks here in the bottom of the 6th. Coach Davis is going to come out, make a replacement. Bareford will come out. And that looks like McKenna Melbrick coming in as the runner at first base. So Melbrick will run for Bareford. And Wagner comes to the plate. Nobody out. Bottom of the 6th inning. Can Lee-Davis make some hay on this leadoff walk?
Now entering the game for the Confederates, number 2, McKenna.
Again, fans, our postgame will be unbelievably brief so that we can get down to the field to cover the postgame activities, the trophy presentation, get video for you that we'll have on Facebook.com/Hanover Sports, and of course also talk to the players after the game. First pitch, Wagner shows bunt, pulls back, ball 1. We'll have video and pictures up again on our Facebook page. And again, the final word on this, our article will come out in the next week's edition of the Hanover Herald Progress. 1-0 pitch. Peyton has thrown 6 consecutive balls. The count is 2-0. Wagner steps back into the batter's box. St. George is ready. 2-0 pitch. Low, inside, ball 3. This is just a little uncharacteristic. And again, is Peyton seeing the finish line and getting a hair nervous about it? This is her final performance, win or lose, heading to Duke and their brand new ACC softball program next year. Wagner squares, comes back, strike, no. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks. First, the leadoff runner, which would take the game and tie it, is at second. And now the go-ahead runs at first, and Rain Wilson, the assistant coach, is going to go out and have a discussion. Coach McIntyre looked at Rain and said, "You go talk to them." She had such influence over this team as a senior last year to remind them of where they are and what they need to do. And she clears everybody else out, puts her hands on St. George's shoulders, and tells her exactly what she wants to hear, pats her on the back, and walks away. Something tells me I'm going to be watching Rain Wilson as a coach for a long time. First and second, nobody out. Best chance Lee-Davis has had all afternoon. St. George is ready. The first pitch, showing bunt, pulling back, ball 1 to Heather Childress, the leadoff hitter. With Melbrick running for Bareford at second and Wagner at first. And Childress has power in the leadoff spot. She can hit the gap and run all day. The 1-0 squares to bunt, fouls it back to the screen. The count is 1-1. Childress works on the batter's glove. Takes a half a swing, gets back in the box. The count at 1-1 with 2 on, and the pitch. Square to bunt, fouled out of play. And it's now 1-2. So you take the bunt out of her hands with 2 strikes. But again, Heather can find the hole. We've seen it many, many times during her career as a Confederate. The 1-2. It's low. 2-2. Lee-Davis happy to take these gifts and get runners on and try to put pressure on St. George, as she actually has put some pressure on herself. The 2-2 pitch. Foul, out of screen, and out of play. And we'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. First and second. Atlee 1, Lee-Davis nothing. Bottom 6, 5A state softball title on the line. St. George is ready, delivers off speed into right field, and O'Flaherty is there to make the catch for the first out of the inning. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that will bring up the shortstop, Lauren Taylor, a sophomore in a very, very, very big position here. She is the lone sophomore on the Lee-Davis roster and has been at shortstop since day one. First pitch misses for ball 1. First and second with 1 out. The 1-0. High, 2-0. It would be almost unfathomable to think that she could walk the bases loaded. Lee-Davis fans coming to life. The 2-0 to Taylor. Swing and a miss, strike 1. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike as Sydney Guess, who hit a 3-run homer yesterday in the semifinal win over Stonebridge, is on deck. A pause for a moment. Umpire takes a moment and sweeps off home plate. 2-1, 1 out. Taylor ready. St. George delivers. Outside, 3-1. I don't think Peyton's had an issue like this. I think you could probably say this entire season. 3-1. Swing and a miss. We'll go full at 3-2. Now we're going to see what pitch Peyton is most confident in, because that's what they're going to tell her to pitch right now. Whatever feels best, do it. Count full, 3-2 with 1 out. The pitch. High for ball 4, and the bases are loaded. 3 walks, and the bases are jammed for Sydney Guess. Sydney Guess, the number 3 batter in the lineup. The first pitch to Sydney. High for ball 1. And now there's nowhere to put a runner. This game is tied if St. George issues her 4th walk of the inning. Guess can change the whole game with a swing. Oh, even at 1-1. A crazy change of events here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 1 away, bases loaded thanks to 3 St. George walks. Guess is ready, the 1-1 pitch. High, ball 2. The count is 2-1. Lee-Davis fans going nuts right now, imploring their guys to be patient. It's paid off so far. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Guess thought late. And it's 2-2. By the time she made the decision to swing, that ball was going by her. 2-2 to Sydney Guess. Logan Hawker is on deck with 1 out here in the 6th. 2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for St. George, and a huge strikeout because that makes it 2 out. And play at any base. And it's going to be Logan Hawker to the plate. Get out of a jam that she manufactured herself. First pitch way up high for ball 1. And Amanda Bohannon saves the tying run from coming in. It's a short backstop here at Westfield. You could get a play at the plate if you're quick to the bag, but if the third base runner is aggressive, you'll have little chance. The 1-0, way outside on the breaking stuff, and it's 2-0. And again, if she walks Hawker, it's 1-1. Everybody on base, thanks to a walk. No hits in this inning. 1 ball in play. The 2-0 hits that outside corner for strike 1. Hawker still ahead in the count. 2-1 with 2 out and the bases full. Atlee had the bases full back top 1 and couldn't deliver. Lee-Davis desperately needs to break through here. The 2-1 pitch. Line towards second. Durbin will get it. Throw to first. And the bases will be left full of Confederates. And we will go to the 7th. 3 left on base. Huge missed opportunity for Lee-Davis. It is still Atlee 1, Lee-Davis nothing as we go to the 7th after this message live on the RVA Sports Network.
Your home should be a unique reflection of your lifestyle. RCI Builders' customer-oriented building process offers a wide variety of options for customization while remaining affordable. First-time homeowners starting out, retirees interested in age-restricted communities, and even those interested in a one-of-a-kind custom home all trust RCI Builders to make their dream home a reality. Contact RCI to learn how you can save up to $30,000 on move-in ready homes in our most sought-after communities. Call 249-2818.
Where do more Richmonders get their high school sports news on Twitter? Who provides up to 75 live high school sports broadcasts all year long? Only the RVA Sports Network. On Twitter at the RVA Sportsnet. Follow local teams on Hanover Sports, Henrico Sports, and Chesterfield Sports. And subscribe to our YouTube channel to hear 9 different sports broadcast live all year long. It's only found on the RVA Sports Network. Online 24/7 at rvasportsnetwork.com.
And a big thank you to all of you for not only joining us this afternoon, but for being with us all across our social media platforms, websites, podcasts, our live broadcast here on our YouTube channel, and, of course, our feeds on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you for being a part of the RVA Sports Network this 2016-17 year. To the 7th we go. Atlee breathing a huge sigh of relief, with the 1-0 lead intact, and Rachel Davis to lead things off. First pitch popped into left field. Grubbs is underneath, and she'll make the catch for the first out of inning number 7. So 1 pitch, 1 out, and that'll bring up April Hooper, the DP, this afternoon. Lee-Davis will have the 5, 6, 7 hitters due up in the 7th. And Atlee 3 outs away from the three-peat. First pitch called strike 1 to Hooper. Bernardini is on deck, the third baseman. 7, 8, 9, the hitters here for Atlee. In the 7th, Scott Reddy, the 0-1. Misses on the inside corner. It's 1-1. Will it be a second consecutive 1-0 Atlee win in this series? Nice changeup for strike 2 that hits the inside corner. Scott ahead 1-2. These two teams have been playing each other now for a quarter century. Atlee opened in 91. First season of softball, 92. And most of the Atlee population that year, Hooper fouls one back to the screen to stay alive at 1-2, was taken from Lee-Davis. Very few Patrick Henry students went to Atlee. And so it was a natural rivalry in the eastern half of Hanover County from day one, 26 years ago. The 1-2, jammed, foul down the first base line, and we'll go again at 1-2. One out, nobody on, top of the seventh. Atlee clinging, and I do mean clinging, to the 1-0 lead. Scott Reddy, the 1-2, popped her up. Third baseman Wagner calls everybody off in foul ground and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Nobody on for Bernardini. And again, it'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up for Lee-Davis in the bottom of the seventh. Lee-Davis fell at home to Atlee 4-0 on a rainy, windy Monday night. You remember, fans, we were supposed to broadcast that game on that original Friday, March 31st, and it got moved to Monday due to rain. And then that night it was raining sideways, and it was raining into the press box, which is open-ended at Lee-Davis, which is why we had to cancel our broadcast because, well, we only have one set of broadcast equipment, and if it gets wet, we don't have any. So we were unable to do that game, but we were able to redo the broadcast at the second matchup on April 28th at Atlee, and that was the 1-0 win for the Raiders on the St. George homer in her first at-bat. She's the difference today in her second at-bat. First pitch to Bernardini, outside corner for strike one. We've covered many Atlee Lee-Davis games over the years. None bigger than this afternoon. The trophy is in the house. The 0-1. Slap down the line, foul at third, and Bernardini down 0-2. Bernardini, the lefty, ready. And the pitch, grounder right back to Scott on a hop, turns, throws to Hudson at first, and we go to the bottom of the seventh. 1 run, 4 hits for Atlee. No runs, 2 hits for Lee-Davis. St. George needs 3 outs to finish the job. 3 shutouts against Lee-Davis this year. 3 state championships in a row for the Atlee Raiders. 1-0 is your score. Again, fans, it will be a very, very quick post game. We'll wrap things up quickly so that we can get down to the field and cover the post game ceremonies. We'll video the trophy presentation and have that for you on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Hanover Sports. If you don't like our Facebook page yet, please do so. Links, news, photo galleries, exclusive content, all at facebook.com/Hanover Sports. And, of course, our main Facebook page, facebook.com/RVA Sports Network, with news from around the Richmond area. Of course, interviews with the winning team and pictures to put up as well. And, again, the final word on this game, we'll write it up for you for the next week's edition of the Hanover Herald Progress. 3 outs. That's all they need for the three-peat. Final instructions in the circle. And it'll be Gentry, Alvis, and Hudson, I believe, for Lee-Davis. First pitch misses low to Gentry for ball 1. They need a leadoff hitter to get on base. And if it means a walk, take it. Again, the 1-0. Misses low. 2 balls and no strikes. It'd be hard to believe that she would put herself in another situation, another jam. 2-0 the count on Gentry, and the pitch coming. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-1. Two-one the count and the pitch. Popped her up to second base. Durbin with the catch, and there's one out. Some quick breaking news and congratulations to Hanover girls tennis. They have just captured the 4A state girls team tennis title, defeating Sherando 5-1. One away. First pitch. Grounder, Alvis to short. Barrett with it. The throw to first, low but in time. And there's 2 out in the 7th. And it's going to be up to E.B. Hudson. 1 out away from 3 consecutive state titles. St. George ready, the first pitch to Hudson. Misses low for ball 1. Just below the knees, and the count is 1-0. Hudson a senior, St. George a senior. They battle here on the biggest stage. Checks her swing, hits the corner for strike 1. 1-1. Nobody on. 2 out. 1-0. And the pitch. Shallow center field. Warren coming under it, and they do it. It's over. The three-peat to the Atlee Raiders. And for the 3rd year in a row, the dog pile ensues. Atlee 1, Lee-Davis 0. And for the 3rd time in a row and the 4th time in school history, the Atlee Raiders are your 5A state softball champions, outlasting the Lee-Davis Confederates 1-0. The exact same final score from their last meeting April 28th. And it happens in much the same way, as it will be a Peyton St. George solo homer that gets the job done. 25-1 will be their final record. Congratulations to Atlee. Lee-Davis so close. And what a season for them as they finish at 21-4. Game coverage coming up live on Facebook. We'll have video for you as soon as we can post it of the awards ceremony. We'll have photos and interviews and much more coming up on Facebook, facebook.com/Hanover. Way to end our live broadcast season for 2016-17. A classic, and the Raiders of Atlee are victorious 1-0 over Lee-Davis. This exclusive presentation of the 5A State Softball Championship has been brought to you exclusively from the RVA Sports Network and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of today's game without the express written consent of HCS Media, LLC is strictly prohibited. Again, fans will video the trophy presentation and have it for you coming up shortly on Facebook at facebook.com/Hanover Sports. The three-peat is complete. Congratulations to the Atlee Raiders. 1-0, the final score. For all of us at the RVA Sports Network, Rob Witham saying thank you so much for being with us in 2016-17, and we're back live in August for another year.